Very welcome to the Irish Showman channel here on YouTube, where we always bring you the best entertainers. And today we're talking to one of Ireland's greatest entertainers, a fantastically gifted and musical singer and entertainer, a man who is beloved of the Irish music scene and also has probably one of the longest and most distinguished careers in Irish singing music history. Good evening, Brian Red Hurley.
Good evening, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not too bad. No, it's lovely to chat with
It's
you.
a pleasure to be here.
Ah, it's wonderful. I've always been an admirer of yours, and I suppose at the moment we're playing with the Eurovision again, and of course you were a wonderful star of the Eurovision with your entry when.
I have to tell you, I enjoyed it immensely.
Did you?
Now, it's a long time ago, 1976. What's that, 40-something years?
Nearly.
It's a long time
Nearly.
for a little fella like
But it
me.
still stands up. It's a wonderful song.
Well, Brendan Graham wrote that. It was the first offering he ever made. And he knocked on my door one day and he says, "Can I come in?" And I says, "Yeah." He arrived at my house in Milltown a long time ago, and he just played a few notes on the piano. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding,
Beautiful
ding,
melody.
ding. It's very simple, but catching.
Yes.
And he says to me, "Would you be interested in doing the demo of it?"
Wow.
I said, "I have an awful lot of stuff. You're only wasting your time." So he tried. So we did a quick demo. He sent it into RTE, and they called me. Actually, I was in Tralee. RTE called me and said, "Would you be interested in doing a spot in the national song?"
Yes.
I said, "Yeah, I'd be delighted to." And they said, "Okay, well, we're putting you in for the Eurovision, and let's hope you can get in."
Wonderful.
And that was the way it worked.
I think that was a good format, the National Song Contest, where people,
Yeah.
you saw the songs, the singers
Yeah,
and the entertainers like that.
that's right.
Of course, he did You Raise Me Up afterwards, which you always include in your program.
Yeah, but even for me, unfortunately.
Well, Red, we have 20 questions that we normally ask to some of our guests, and then just anything that comes to the top of your head when you hear these, just let me know what you think. What's your favourite colour to wear on stage?
Blue.
Blue.
I don't know why, but just blue, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a mixture of like the black look,
Yes.
the dark look.
Yes.
At the same time, it can catch the lights and make it a bit
And I've
more,
seen it
very
on you.
showbiz.
It looks really well.
Good,
What's
thank
your
you.
favourite movie?
The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Part
Mar-
1,
Mario
2, and
Puzo.
3, yeah.
Part 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Any particular actor you like in The Godfather?
I was mesmerised by Michael Corleone or whatever his name is. What's his name?
Al Pacino or
Al
Marlon
Pacino.
Brando?
Al Pacino.
Yeah.
I love Marlon Brando, but he was only in it for a minute, you know.
Yeah, he was, yeah. But
yeah.
he gave a lot of weight to the part, didn't he, as the
absolutely.
Godfather?
Fantastic.
Absolutely. I know you've done a lot of songs for musicals, and you're a very, very good crossover artist. Is there any particular musical that you like?
I got a call from RTE one day, and they said we're doing a week in the National Concert Hall with the concert orchestra.
Yes.
Would you be interested in playing one of the parts from The Phantom of the Opera?
Wow.
And I said I'd be delighted. And we rehearsed, and you couldn't get a seat in the place for the whole week.
Wow.
It was packed. But it gave me an idea that I realised that I could actually make a fist of singing these songs.
Bring him home.
Bring
of
him
course
home.
you do
Well,
a great
that's
job
from
of that.
Les Miserables.
Yeah.
But the other one, Music of
Phantom.
the Night.
Yeah. Music
But
of
that
the
was
Night.
great, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Right. You've celebrated just gone 50 years in show business.
Ah, jeez. Did you have to bring that up?
Yeah, what's your favourite decade? Your breakthrough decade seemed to be the 1970s.
Yeah, the 70s was the money-making month, a year.
Yeah.
A couple of years.
Yeah, you had a few hits actually in 1971. Isadora is a great song. I love that song. But who would you say influenced you the most? Because I know you come from a very musical
I would say
family.
Elvis, Tom Jones, the usual guys, Roy Orbison, all Stevie Wonder and all of that, yeah.
Okay. You've played an awful lot of venues around the world.
I did indeed. Yeah.
What would be the most memorable venue for you, do you think?
That's a
I know it's a
question.
tough question.
Well, there's just so many places. Yeah, I couldn't answer that one, Mark.
You played with Rita Coolidge, I know.
Did yeah? That was in Dublin.
That was in Dublin.
And Cork.
And she was actually singing your praises in America.
She was married to Chris Christopherson, and I didn't meet him, but I met a few people who knew him very, very well, including her.
Yeah.
But she was a great character.
Yeah.
Lovely lady.
Yeah, we all-time high. I met Christopherson twice. Right, something completely obscure for you, a different question. Do you like cars?
I love cars.
What was the best car you think you've ever owned? What stands out in your memory?
I would say I had a beautiful navy blue Mercedes one time.
Did you?
Yeah, and I have a soft spot for America.
Can you remember the Galtymore Club in Cricklewood, and do you have any memories of it?
I sure do. There was 2 gigs going at the same time.
Yes, there was, yeah.
One was a country and western gig.
That's right.
Or, a country and Irish, like Big Tom type stuff. And then in the other ballroom there was the likes of Joe Dolan, Red Hurley, Dickie Rock, whatever,
Now, there's a lot of people, I think, if there was one question that I've heard, I've asked a few people before I interviewed you, what would you like to ask Red Hurley? And 3 people came up with the same question, believe it or not, and that is to say, how did Red Hurley get on with the other, we'll say, 4 famous male singers, which would be Dickie Rock, Brendan Boyer, DJ Curtin, and Joe Dolan? How did you all...
I knew DJ well.
Yes.
I liked DJ. He's a very good singer.
He's in Las Vegas now.
Yeah, lovely fella. Dickie, played golf with Dickie. Dickie and I had a kind of a love-hate relationship,
Right.
But we had great crack. It was always a bit of fun. And Joe Dolan. Joe was he loved to play golf. And,
he did.
So
very genuine guy, apparently, and gave it 100% like yourself. On
sweetheart,
the stage.
he was. He was a lovely fella.
Yeah. And then of course we have the great Brendan Boyer, who's now sadly passed on as well. And
well, I remember when we went to Las Vegas first. Brendan and his couple of guys from the band.
Yes.
They were involved at one stage in almost kind of managing me.
Oh, okay.
And TJ Byrne was managing them.
Yes.
And it was TJ who was kind of taking care of Red Hurley in 1974 for about a year. And it went from there to Brendan Boyer and Tom Dunphy. The 2 of them had an arrangement with themselves,
Yes.
And I was glad to be a part of it. But TJ organised other auditions in the MGM, and we had a wonderful time out there. I enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, it was a kind of a love-hate relationship you had with Las Vegas. It's like really on a magnified scale, the luck of the draw. It's almost like the whole gambling aspect of Vegas, but it really kicked in when, you were very well received in Vegas. You were packing them in, and then there was a plane strike.
The plane strike had all of the hallmarks of the COVID thing for us here in Ireland.
Wow.
The way it
Yes, it closed everything down.
Closed everything down and upset the whole apple cart. And that was the same for me with the air traffic control strike.
So I've often heard you speak about yourself in the third person. So like on stage you'd say, well, this was a #1 hit for Red Hurley.
Yeah.
I've always smiled at that to hear you talking about. But looking back now, taking, we'll say, the helicopter view, what would you say? You'd say that Red Hurley was a success out there. And you couldn't have asked for better really as an entertainer. But
we had a wonderful orchestra, we had a wonderful gig set up, wonderful lights, sound, everything was perfect.
Wow.
All we needed was for the strike to finish. And even if it had finished, but it kept going for like 3 months.
And you had four-wall, the casino as they called it.
Yeah, it's four-wall.
Oh.
We had to finance everything. 60% was break even.
Yeah.
Anything below that was loss.
Well, I thank you for your honesty on that, because it's not an easy subject to speak
No,
about.
it's
but
not.
The fact of the matter is you couldn't have anticipated.
Mark, it's easier to speak about it today.
Yes, yeah.
Than the old days, when it
yeah.
was there looking at you every day. I had a beautiful home in Ballsbridge, had to sell it to pay off the bills.
And that's turned into an embassy now, isn't it?
That's the embassy of the Kingdom of Morocco.
Wow.
That's what it is.
That's amazing. Not a lot of people would know that.
That's the way
It is a fabulous home. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. But I suppose these are only all things. I mean, we're looking at the man beloved of our nation. I mean, you're a national treasure.
Well, I think, and I'm only saying this because it's true, I
Yeah.
think listening to you doing the likes of Richard Burton and some of the takeoffs that you do, to me, I would consider you to be a national treasure.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I've always loved listening to you. No, I say this because I'm curious for the answer. I mean, you know, I know you're touring with the Showband Show, and you've done it now a few times. I always go to see it. I always go to hear Red Hurley because I consider you the best voice in Ireland. You know, I love listening to you, and I love listening to DJ Curtin. The quality of it.
Me too.
But to me, I've always loved someone that can has good diction and good phraseology when singing a song. And when I listen to you sing love songs or even spiritual songs, it's almost like the words leave your brain, go down through your heart, and come out through your
Well,
mouth.
that's very nice of you to say that, and I appreciate it.
And I mean
you.
that.
Thank
Okay, we go back to some of these questions. What's your favourite food to eat?
I guess a nice crusty steak.
Same as a lot of us.
Yeah.
And your drink, your favourite drink?
Pint of Guinness.
Pint of Guinness. Pint of the black stuff. If you were to be put up on stage tomorrow with the best symphony orchestra in the world, and everything is just right, the sound is just right, the monitors are just right, you have the best backing singers, what song, if you had one song to sing, would you love to sing with that orchestra?
My Way,
Wow. Well, that says an awful lot, doesn't it?
doesn't it?
And
If you take the great Frank Sinatra
Yes.
off that, take him away from the orchestra,
Yes.
and just have the orchestra playing,
it's still wonderful.
it's still wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And it means so much to so many different people. Absolutely. Now, you grew up in a musical family, Red, and you know, Liam's fantastic. The arrangements and your sisters singing "When Will I See You
Yeah.
Again" on the record. I thought it was beautiful.
Well, that was just a little surprise. We were up in the studio one day, we're actually doing Love Is All
Yes.
in the studio up in Orwell, beautiful studio, and I said, we might as well do When Will I See You Again while we're here, because my sister was a good singer.
It's
very
fabulous.
good, and that's how that came about. Just so simple.
I actually rate it above the original. Believe it or
no.
not. But I do. But that's me. That's
Well,
my
that's
opinion.
when
I do. And I put it out there. Okay, the Red Hurley song you never tire of hearing. So we say something comes on and you just say to yourself, you know what? I did a good job on that. Is there one song that you really like listening to?
I think Love Is All is
Love Is All.
great
You did a
song.
great job.
That's
No,
really-
when I mentioned earlier about crossover, I must say I was shocked to hear you do the Andrea Bocelli song "Time to Say Goodbye." But I was even more shocked when I heard it, and you know the big note at the end. You nailed it. How did you find singing that?
Well, you know, if you prepare for what you're doing and you do enough preparation and it works during rehearsal, then you say, well, it's going to work during the take. But if you're afraid of it, it won't happen.
What's Brian Hurley's biggest fear when you close your eyes at night and you know, obviously you're with a very loving family, you're surrounded by your girls, your wife, your lovely daughters, but what's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear? Well, I don't know, Mark. I honestly don't know. I guess everyone has the fear of not waking up.
Yeah. Well, that leads me on to the next question then is, do you have any belief in God or
Yes, I
faith
do.
in God? Good.
I do indeed, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
I believe there is definitely something there.
Okay.
What form, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, I don't know if anybody can be certain
Yeah.
about defining that.
Yeah.
What's your handicap in golf?
It's dreadful now. I was 13 one time. I was
Yeah.
able to play to 13 one time.
Well,
But now I'm about 25.
I heard from one of our local guys here, Michael Fox O'Connor, said to me, "You're a great golf player. He
No.
always likes taking you out whenever you're
Oh,
in
he
Kerry,
like, yeah.
in the kingdom."
No, he's handy enough.
He is. He's a
That
good golfer.
Tralee is a great golf course.
Tralee's a good golf
Oh
course.
my God, it's beautiful.
You saw Elvis Presley live. You're one of the few people to see him live. Of course, he died in 1977. So when did you see him? Was it
74.
74.
Yeah.
And tell me, how did you get into the show? Because I know he was kind of booked out.
I just walked straight up to the
Maitre d'.
Maitre d', and I said, "Maitre d', how are you? What's your name?" Somebody had already told me it was Mr. Emilio.
Yes.
So I said, "Mr. Emilio, my name is Red Hurley." I said, "I'm an Irish singer." I said, and I'd like to impress this girl that's with me. So is there anything you can do for me? Nah, no, man. Can you see that queue? That queue goes right out to the street. So I know. I'm after being on it.
Oh.
So he says to me, what do you think you could do? Look, I say, I'm going back to Ireland. I want to be able to say I saw the great Elvis Presley. Is there anything you can do for me? You know, he didn't want to commit himself, so I took $100 bill out of my pocket and I handed
Which
it
was
to
a lot of money
which
in
was,
1974.
it was at least 1,000 in today's money.
Wow.
So I handed him and he was like, let me just no, I'll just check something. I'll just check something. So he went and checked something, came back to me and he said, okay, follow me. But beautiful seats.
Go away.
And there was Elvis and that was it.
We talked about him earlier, but Sinatra, you came across Sinatra on the Rat Pack too, didn't you? No, I'm not name dropping here, but the thing about it is it's a wonderful story. It's a wonderful story. It has to be appreciated because it's where show business took you.
Well, it's just a case of bumping into them.
It is.
I was with a fellow called Gene Kilroy, who was Muhammad Ali's business manager.
Yes.
And I hit it off with him. We were great pals. And he could walk up anywhere and get you in anywhere. And so, comped.
Yeah.
But I would only really want to say hello and maybe hear one song. And we met loads and loads and loads of huge stars because of that.
It's wonderful. Do you gamble? Have you ever gambled?
I've been known to have a little flutter, particularly on a horse.
The Grand National.
The Grand National. I'm not a gambler, no.
The nickname, Red, where did you get it and how did it stick to you? You know, I know it was because of your wonderful hair, which you still sport today.
My mother had the red hair.
Did she?
Yeah, and she was she was the epitome of red-hairedness. But everyone used to say, that's Red Hurley, young Hurley there. Do you know the woman there with the red hair? And that's the way it came about. No big deal.
Do you sing for your family? Do you sing for Norma? Do you sing for the girls?
Oh, I would do, yeah. If it was a nice gig, they'd maybe show up and sit in the front row and hope.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite fragrance? Because I know I asked Dickie Rock and he said to me
his
favourite fragrance was Blue by Chanel.
He needs something. I know, I shouldn't say that. I love Dickie.
Well, Dickie's great.
No, I like Aramis.
Aramis, yes, it's wonderful.
I like, what do you call that other one? I can't think of it. Christian Dior.
Oh yeah, Christian Dior.
So that's it.
Okay, I'm almost there. Just some of the songs, I guess, going back to it. There's a wonderful video of you in a white outfit with this sort of an Egyptian gold necklace around your neck doing the Tennessee special on RTE. It's absolutely fabulous. You're there bang smack in your prime and it's one of the best performances I've ever seen. I love it. The song is particularly difficult to sing because it takes you right up to the top of your range and then you go down.
Which song is this?
My Final Destination.
Tennessee Special.
Yeah, Tennessee Special.
Tennessee Special, yeah.
Do you like performing that song and getting the audience to come in and the whistling part?
It's only a bit of crack.
It is, but it's good fun.
Don't take it too seriously. Because
no.
If you do, you'll know yourself.
Would you agree with Elvis when he said that the show is in the audience?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He was right, wasn't he?
It's all about the audience.
Arkansas is another song. It sounded a bit like one of a sort of a Tony Christie type song, but it's wonderful.
It was definitely a rip-off of Tony Christie.
Well, I wouldn't call it a rip-off.
Let's put that to bed, right?
I think the arrangements, the trumpets and all that sound a little bit like I did what I did for Maria.
Yeah, exactly.
Just,
you know, that's what it
is. You've had over 20 charted Irish songs and 5 number ones.
And 500 BBC recordings.
500 BBC recordings. You've one of the longest chart careers in Irish show band history. And you're also noted for making time for people. How do you feel, to finish up, about your audience now? And I know you travel out foreign. You like the audiences in Ireland, of course. Your full houses wherever you go with the show.
Well, Mark, I used to travel an awful lot. And I got to the stage where I was starting to see double from the travelling. Airplanes, you know, through the immigration, through the customs, through the everything.
Yes.
And then into the taxi, and maybe someone would pick you up, drive you to the gig, rehearse. That was about 8 years ago. And I said, I'm getting to the stage where I can't do this. I just cannot do all this travelling. It's not worth it. So I said to Norma one day, I said, I'm thinking of cancelling the American business. And she says, up to you, you know, it's up to you.
It is a lot to sing for 2.5 hours a night
Oh,
on stage.
but every night.
Every night, 6 nights a week.
And you're in a different state half the time.
But do you like now working with artists like Sean O'Dowd and with Ronan Collins and you know, with Gina and
absolutely,
there's just wonderful people, and you have your part, and that band is fantastic.
Absolutely,
the Conks,
yeah,
the Conquerors as well.
The Conks, yeah. No, the guys are great. Gina's great. Ronan, Keith and Lorraine, and my pal Sean O'Dowd.
Sean is wonderful. He's a live wire. I think
I don't know where he gets the energy from.
But you know, when I see Sean, I think of you know, that entertainer in Las Vegas. He couldn't do enough. He gives me this kind of an impression that there's not an ounce left in that man.
Wayne Newton, is it?
Wayne Newton, that's the guy. Because Wayne Newton is pick up this and pick up that. He drops the saxophone, he picks up, and he just couldn't do enough.
That's
now,
right, yeah.
You know, Wayne's voice would be hoarse a lot of the time, you know, because he's doing it 6 and 7 nights of the week, you know. Hi everybody, I'm Wayne Newton, you know.
Yeah.
But Sean's voice is perfect. But I mean, it's just you feel that watching him, he couldn't, like yourself, you know, you stand there and you will sing the note, but bang, I mean, nobody will sing the note like you.
Ah, stop.
No, but that's how I feel. I tell it like it is. You know, a lot of people, they check in as entertainers, but I feel people get their bang for their buck when they're going to see the show band show.
Oh, it's a great show.
It is a good show.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Ronan does the Sinatra.
Those people would say, you know, that kind of a show is a little old-fashioned, but it's not old-fashioned. The band are great, the sound is great, the lights are great, everybody's working together. It's like one big happy family, and I mean that.
Have you got any message for your fans, for the people that have followed you for years, that love you, that have Red Hurley records at home? Like I have 2 behind me here, which I brought in with me just to see your feelings on these.
This was a good album. This was a lot
When?
better. Yeah, and sometimes and Kiss Me Goodbye, God Be With the Days.
They're good songs.
Yeah, they are good songs. Les Reed wrote a lot of them.
He did.
And he was some operator when it came to writing songs.
But I know we all have to have, we'd say, make a living, and it's a career in one sense. But looking back at it, I think you've served the people of Ireland wonderfully.
Thank you.
And even at Albert Reynolds' funeral and things like that, who better than to come and ask you to sing?
Yeah, right.
You know, just wonderful things. There's only one Red Hurley.
Thank you.
And I speak for many, many people when I say thank you.
Pleasure.
Red Hurley, it's been wonderful talking to you. You're a gentleman,
Thank
a
you.
wonderful Irishman, and the best singer in Ireland.
Thank you
God
for
bless
having
you,
me.
sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us here on the Irish Showman channel. I look forward to seeing you at one of our videos again in the future. We'll have other entertainers, but tonight we would like to thank Red Hurley and thank you for joining in. Thanks a lot.